Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join us. Today we're going to make a meal which is quite simple to make, but will appear to be quite a bit fancier than what it is. So we're going to take a simple, which is quite an inexpensive cut of meat in today's day and age, in a pork tenderloin. We'll trim it down. We're going to season it, cook a mushroom mix with mushrooms, a little bit of bacon, and some onions, and wrap it in some puff pastry and cook it much like a Beef Wellington. So we'll call it our Pork Wellington, which is a much less expensive form of what the Beef Wellington is. So today we're going to start with a pork tenderloin. We'll cut it to size. We're going to trim it a little bit. We're going to cut up some mushrooms, get all ready. We're going to sear this piece of meat, let it cool a little bit before we actually wrap it in the puff pastry with the mushroom mix, as we don't want this to be served as a rare or a medium rare like you would with a beef. So we're going to put a little bit of a cook to it before we actually bake it in the puff pastry. But inexpensive cut of meat, has some silver skin on it. We're going to remove not a lot of fat, obviously, in any of the pieces of tenderloin, whether it be beef or pork. And so no further ado, let's get to trimming this up, cutting our vegetables, our mushrooms, our onions, our bacon up, and let's get going. Remember, always be cooking with a sharp knife. We want the vegetables cut, or the onions in this case, cut fairly small. We don't want big chunks of onions within. So we'll cut it fair. It's going to be like a paste almost in the end. Tip when cutting mushrooms, which is one of the first things I actually showed my kids when they were young, and learning a little bit of the knife skills, is easy and safer if you actually just nip off one little part of the mushroom, and then it'll lay flat on your cutting board. Less risk of it rolling on you and end up cutting yourself. So round things, unless you're actually really comfortable with the knife, are somewhat more challenging. So there again, a little flat piece. will make things a lot easier for you. So, and I mean, even as you do it, you'll learn out of habit that you're actually doing it fairly quickly. Even so, cut off that little piece, roll it, and there you go. So we will have some section I'm going to do on some of the basic knife skills, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm not a professional, but I spent a lot of years using a kitchen knife, and it's something that I'm fairly comfortable with. So. I think that's probably enough mushrooms. Bowl. Thank God for stainless steel bowls. Been using these same ones for probably 25-30 years now, even after my kids have tried to steal them over the years. Here we go. We have some mushrooms, we have some onions. Let's cut up a little bit of garlic, and then we're going to actually we'll go over a little bit of the bacon. I'm using a slab of bacon today here, as you might be able to see. It's been butchered off a little bit, but this is homemade bacon. We make bacon at home. We're going to actually have a session on that as well. I've been doing it for quite a while. Make quite a bit of it at the same time. So we're going to use some of that in our pork today, and we'll have another video coming soon on making bacon from scratch from a pork belly. So. Gonna brown these off. Not that easy with one hand. Beautiful.
little bit of granulated garlic. Pepper. A little bit of salt, not much though. We're going to let that rest, let it cool down a bit. Smells wonderful.
Okay, so we've seared off our pork tenderloins, lightly seasoned, not overly seasoning, because there's quite a bit of seasoning in the mushrooms. There's going to be some whole grain mustard that we're going to put in there as well. I try to cook with a little bit of reduced salt as well, so I did add fresh garlic, salt, pepper, and rosemary to the onion, mushroom, bacon mix. There again, a little bit of salt, quite a bit of salt in the bacon, so it didn't go overboard on that. So should be pretty flavorful in the end. So here we are. We have our mushroom mix. We have our pork. We have some puff pastry, which we're going to roll out here in just a second, and then we'll get to stuffing, or we'll get going. So let's just let it cool off and see where we go from here. Okay, now our mushroom mix has cooled, so we're gonna apply some full grain mustard and our mix, and then we'll wrap and bake. Mustard's going to give us a little bit of a bite, a little bit of sweetness. So we have a good contrast with the mushroom mix. Not a lot. You can choose to process or up your mushroom mix. I'll throw it in the food processor sometimes and make it to more of a paste. I don't feel like pulling out the food processor today, so this is exactly how it's going, and I just fed the animals. So we're going to take a bit of our mixture here now, and we will apply it here. Take our piece of pork now. Ends, and we're going to pinch off the ends a little bit. It's a little bit difficult on this one. Pause here for a sec. Take our pan, a little bit of parchment. Getting messier as we go. And there we have what we're going to bake off. I'm going to put an egg wash on it to help it brown, get some nice color into it. You can make it decorative in a couple different ways, but this is going to be fine today. So let's make a quick little egg wash there. There we have it. Let's bake it off tonight. I'm not gonna record it, but we'll have some stuffed or some mashed potatoes, some garlic roasted mashed potatoes with it. So stay tuned. As soon as it comes out of the oven, we'll take a look. Cooked all the way through, maybe even a little bit too much. A simple meal, really easy to make, folks. Inexpensive, a nice way to impress guests when they're coming over. Simple puff pastry, stuff it whatever you want. Mushrooms works really well. It is really much better with a little bit of butter. A little bit of mustard. Adds a little bit of that vinegar taste and a little bit of extra texture and certainly some extra taste. So enjoy. Let me know what you think. Put some comments in down below. Hit the subscribe. Looking forward to seeing you some more because there's lots more to come. So.